Hi, I'm Nicholas from Rtings.com. Today we'll be looking at the popular Hisense U7K. It's a lower mid-range TV packed with modern features and sells for less than competing models from other brands. We bought and tested the 65-inch model, but our results are also valid for the 55 and 85-inch models. The 75-inch version is reported to use an IPS panel, so it should have a worse contrast, but a better viewing angle. Is this truly one of the best lower mid-range TVs from 2023? We'll answer that and more, but first, let's start by talking about its design. This TV has decent build quality. The plastic on the back flexes a bit, but this is common and won't cause any issues. There's a slight creaking sound when it wobbles, which is a little more worrisome, but this won't cause any issues unless you shake it a lot. Please don't do that. The TV has 2 feet that you can adjust to a narrow or wide position depending on your needs, but if you have the feet set in the narrow position, some longer soundbars won't fit in between them. Height-wise, the feet lift the TV about 3.3 inches off the table, so you can place most soundbars in front without blocking the screen. It has a premium design from the front with thin bezels on 3 sides and one slightly thicker one on the bottom. The back of the TV has a flat metallic top section and plastic housing on the bottom half with a built-in subwoofer. Most of the inputs come out the side, so they are easy to access if you have the TV on a stand. But like most TVs, they can be harder to reach when the TV is mounted flush against the wall. The TV comes with a simple remote. It has quick access buttons to popular streaming services. Like the TV itself, it has a built-in mic that you can use to search for content, open apps, or switch inputs. It comes with version 12 of the popular Google TV operating system. It's fast and easy to use, and it has a large selection of apps. Like most TVs on the market, there are ads throughout the interface that can be disabled. You can opt out of personalized ads, but then it will recommend content that isn't relevant to you. So it truly feels like your TV is that person in your life who constantly tells you to watch something even though you have zero interest in it. Moving on, the TV has 4 HDMI ports in total, but only 2 of them have HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. Unfortunately, one of those is also the eARC port, so you're only left with one HDMI 2.1 port if you want to plug in a gaming PC or console. On top of that, the TV has 2 USB ports, a digital optical audio port, an analog audio out port, and an Ethernet port. It also has a composite input, but that requires an adapter that isn't included in the box. Lastly, it has an ATSC 3.0 tuner, so you can watch 4K channels over the air. Now that we've talked about the basics, let's move on to the picture quality. It has a fantastic contrast with local dimming on. Blacks are nice and deep in dark scenes, and they don't become gray when brighter highlights are on screen. Unfortunately, the local dimming does lead to some blooming around text and brighter highlights when they are against blacks or near blacks. This can be slightly distracting, but it's a trade-off most people would make to have deep blacks across all scenes. If you want to watch content in bright rooms, this TV has impressive peak brightness in SDR and fantastic reflection handling, so it can overcome glare. You can easily use this TV with open curtains on a sunny Sunday afternoon while watching football. If you want the best accuracy but don't want to pay the expensive price to calibrate your TV, this is a great choice. The color temperature is almost perfect, and gamma is close to the 2.2 target. All those scenes are slightly brighter than they're supposed to be. The white balance is great, with only some minor inaccuracies in bright whites and mid-grays, but most people won't notice this. You could further improve its accuracy with calibration, but it's good enough that you should be happy with it even if you're picky. Not only is the U7K a great TV to watch SDR content, but it's also a great TV for HDR. Its HDR peak brightness is very good, so bright highlights pop well enough for an impactful experience. There's also no noticeable difference with HDR brightness when the TV is in game mode, so you don't have to worry about putting up with a dim image if you're also looking for the best performance possible when gaming. The TV has decent PQ EOTF tracking, but unfortunately, all scenes are displayed brighter than intended by the content creator. Luckily, there's a smooth roll-off with most content, meaning it keeps details well. The TV has excellent coverage of the DCI P3 color space used in HDR content. It also has good coverage of the wider Rec 2020 color space that's increasing in popularity. There are some accuracy errors throughout, but most colors are close enough to the mark that it won't be noticeable to most people. As good as this TV is in most categories, it has a narrow viewing angle. The image fades and looks washed out as you move even slightly off-center. This limits the TV's usefulness in group settings, so it's not a good choice if you have friends or family who want to watch movies, TV shows, or the big game with you. If you're watching movies with a Blu-ray player, streaming box, or are using the built-in apps, You'll be happy to know that it can remove 24p Judder from any source. If you want to use your TV for more than just watching movies, it supports all common resolutions up to 4K at 144Hz. It can also do 1080p at 240Hz, but only with VRR disabled. If you want to use the TV as a PC monitor, you can get low input lag and sharp text while in game mode. This is because it supports Chroma 444 with 4K signals up to 144Hz. Speaking about gaming, the TV has an excellent response time in 4K at 60Hz, but there are some issues with higher refresh rates and VRR enabled. The response time is actually faster with anything above 100Hz, but that leads to more overshoot and ghosting. This causes a weird looking image if the refresh rate constantly hovers around 100Hz, since the response time behavior changes so much. The TV also has a slower response time when coming out of dark states, which causes a black smear. This is most evident when playing darker horror games or when scrolling through text if you use the TV as a PC monitor. Fortunately, the TV has extremely low input lag, resulting in a responsive gaming or desktop experience. It's not as low as a gaming-focused monitor, but it's good enough that you won't be at a disadvantage while playing reaction-based games. If you play with a console, you'll be happy to know it's compatible with everything the PS5 and Xbox Series X offer. You can play 4K games up to 120Hz, including in Dolby Vision from the Xbox. Like most TVs on the market, it uses pulse width modulation to dim its backlight. It flickers at a very fast 4000Hz in all picture modes and at every brightness level, so it isn't noticeable. This won't cause issues for most people, but anyone extra sensitive to flicker might still find it a problem. Lastly, let's move on to its speakers. Dialogue is clear and easy to understand with very little distortion at moderate listening levels, but audible distortion is present at a higher volume. Despite having a built-in subwoofer, there's very little bass, so you'll want a proper sound system or soundbar if you want the best audio. So this brings us to the main question. Should you buy this TV? For most people, the answer is yes. Honestly, the Hisense U7K is an incredible TV for the price and is worthy of its popularity. It's cheaper than competing models from other brands, yet it's packed with features and performs wonderfully. If you're looking for a TV with good value, it's hard not to recommend the U7K over its competitors. But if you're looking for something with even deeper blacks and less blooming than on the Hisense, the TCL Q7 is a better choice. It also gets slightly brighter in SDR, but the difference is minor. Aside from that, the Hisense is on par or better in almost every way. It gets brighter in HDR, it has way more accurate colors, and it has much better reflection handling. That's all for our review of the Hisense U7K. If you want a more detailed write-up on the TV, check out our written review. The link is in the description below. Until next time, I'm Nicholas from Rtings.com, where we help you find the best product for your needs. Ciao. Did you know that we review more than just TVs? We review so many audio products that we even started another channel. Head over to our new Rtings.com audio channel to stay up to date with the latest headphones, soundbars, and speaker reviews.